Oh, what's up, GameLeapers? This is Coach Cheeks, and in today's video, we're going to be discussing some of the changes and all of the listed changes for patch 13.15, which got released on Twitter today. So make sure, guys, to know all of these. You stick around for the whole video. If you are enjoying our recent Season 13 content, make sure to leave a like down below. Any questions and any of your thoughts on some of the champions getting buffed, nerfed, and some of the changes, yeah, just let us know in the comment section. And guys, if you want to master any of these champions and actually play the game at the highest level, doesn't matter if something like, I don't know, Teemo mid is going to be meta, or Heimerdinger jungle is going to become good, right? All of the top challenger tier players are going to remain in that tier because of how they play the game and how they think. That's what we can teach you on our website at GameLeap.com. So check out the links in the description and comment section. All you have to do to get exclusive access to our library of content, which is added to daily by challenger players and coaches from around the world, all you have to do is sign up to get access to it. So let's get in to patch 13.15. So we'll start with champion buffs, and if we know the changes, guys, to these champions already, we will fill you in. So there are 6 champions here. The first of these is Caitlyn. Caitlyn getting buffed. Lots of AD carriers and pro players are going to be looking at this with a bit of interest because she is such a dominant lane champion. She pretty much like has no real counters. Yes, something like maybe Lethality Varus is good against her, but it's not like the strongest thing in the world at the moment. Ashe is actually pretty good against Caitlyn. Ezreal can do okay, and those two are strong with Trinity Force, but Caitlyn, for the most part, if you can pilot this champion, is very scary when she is buffed and in a strong position in the meta. So I'm a little bit wary about what these buffs are going to be because she's not the best champion at the moment, but a little buff is definitely justified, but hopefully it's not that big. Now moving to the top lane here, we have Gwen. Gwen getting buffed maybe makes sense because she isn't the most dominant top laner at the moment, and there are lots of top laners who are a lot better. If we're talking about like Fiora, Jax, maybe something like Olaf, right? Renekton's really good. Even Gwen, who does well into some of those champions, can't actually really compete because she is innately weaker. So these buffs are more for it as long as they don't give her even more scaling than perhaps she already has. Now moving back down to the bot lane here, kind of an interesting one. This is Nami getting buffed. Now ever since they nerfed Nami and Lucian, that combination, Nami hasn't really been popping off too much, and her items have also been nerfed as well, right? If we talk about something like Echoes of Helia, this is not as strong as what it used to be. And compared to the other enchantresses in the bot lane, maybe something like a Janna, you know, probably being the best one because she's so good at disengaging. And we also maybe have Sona, Soraka, who have consistently been okay in this meta, according to the statistics anyway. So Nami getting buffed, I think this is justified as well. Now moving to the mid lane or jungle here, or maybe even support, we are talking about Taliyah. So maybe Midbeast might actually finally get out of Korean Masters because of this buff. And Taliyah getting buffed, well, she's very kind of like popular among pros and in pro play. Maybe not so at the moment, but when she gets buffed, pro players are definitely interested because she's an amazing champion to pick, right? Doesn't really have many weaknesses, counters a lot of stuff because of her E, right? Any champions with dashes, she completely destroys them. And because of her roaming ultimate, and because of the buffs, they kind of, or quality of life changes, they gave her ultimate recently. So the fact you can still use this like kind of in combat, which has been really nice. I think if the buffs are big enough anyway, kind of like the Caitlyn buffs, they could break the meta, especially in high reloads and in pro play. So keep your eyes on this one. Now, 2 champions getting buffed here, and I kind of laughed at the reaction because lots of people, when these 2 champions do get buffed, they do go off their heads about it. And honestly, I really don't see the issue with Yasuo and Yone getting buffed. That's right, guys. Yasuo and Yone are getting buffed. Oh my goodness, you know, let's go nuts. Bro, like these 2 champions at the moment really aren't, well, anything special, to be honest. So I'm kind of fine with these changes going through. And funnily enough, we actually know what the Yasuo changes, well, so far anyway, are going to be. So the changes are to Yasuo's passive, where it's actually now just going to give you the shield based on level, so it's no longer going to be uneven. Basically, what this means is that your passive, you will now get more of it in the early game. So your laning phase is going to be a lot better here, and I think this is actually kind of like a nice buff to Yasuo. So I don't really see an issue with this. No doubt, lots of people will think this is bad for the game, bro. But honestly, I'm just going to say this. You need to learn how to lane better against these champions. They're really not that scary. Now, moving on to champion nerfs. I just can't wait until I get flamed for saying that. Champion nerfs, guys, there are 7 of them. So we have Aatrox getting nerfed. Now, Aatrox got buffed in 13-14. I kind of even called this like they're just going to over buff him, which is what they did do because we saw the buffs. But then they've got to nerf him because he's so OP, bro. Like, you can blind pick this champion again. Who cares if they pick Aurelia? Who cares if they pick any champion that counters you like a Riven? You're still going to do well because the champion is so overtuned. So unless you really know how to counter this guy, man, it's really hard to beat at the moment. And I think this is definitely warranted. Now, moving on to Ivern into the jungle here. Ivern is getting nerfed, and we know what these changes are going to be. So they are as follows. So first of all, your base magic resist is going down by 2. Your magic resist growth is also going down by quite a lot. But here's the thing, your W's ally-based damage is increasing, which is kind of huge, right? So from brushes, and also your E's-based shield is increasing, so the base, right, for the shield, especially at later ranks. So this is encouraging you to max your E first. And then we have your E shield AP ratio actually getting reduced here, which might sound a little bit weird, but the reason for this is because AP Ivern with like Night Harvester and then Magi's, it's kind of breaking the game a little bit. Even if you don't go Night Harvester, like you can actually get a Magi's and still have so much AP in your kit and use this in your E when you shield an ally or Daisy, right? And it's super obnoxious. So they're trying just to encourage you to go like Helia or Shirelia's, even Moonstone works on him, right? So they're trying to encourage you to do that. But not only that, guys, there are also some Daisy nerfs too. So the actual duration of Daisy is going down from 1 minute to 45 seconds. The base HP as well is increasing at later ranks despite decreasing early game, but it is scaling linearly here. So the HP in Daisy is going up by 50 until level 12 and then plus 400 after that. So in the late game, she's going to be really tanky, right? Early game, just straight up nerfs. And then the base resistances for Daisy, these are going to be linear again based on level, but they're not going to scale off your AP. So once again, if you're building AP like Night Harvester, etc., worse off. Also, Daisy's AD and AP ratio have been reduced, and the shockwave damage from Daisy has been rescripted so that the total shockwave damage is unaffected by the AD nerf. So any Ivern mains out there, let me know in the comments section what you think about these. Definite nerfs though overall it seems. Now moving on, we have Kai'Sa, guys, and these nerfs are probably the funniest nerfs I've ever seen. Someone on the balance team is clearly a Kai'Sa main. So the nerfs are as follows. Your Q's AP ratio is going down, but it doesn't really matter because when you're playing AP Kai'Sa, you're evolving your W and your E first, right? Your Q is last when you actually do get enough attack damage, so no one cares about this. And also here we have your W cooldown refund reducing from 77% to 75%. Bro, someone has to be trolling us, say, on that balance team. Like, these are so placebo. AP Kai'Sa, who cares? Still going to be really good. And AD Kai'Sa, I did a video recently on low-key broken champions, like secretly OP. AD Kai'Sa is actually that with lethal tempo. And yeah, we talked about it in the video, so go check it out. Now, Maokai is getting nerfed as well. Sounds a little bit weird here, but that's simply because he's so prolific in pro play. Then we have Neferi getting nerfed, and we know what these nerfs are going to be. So for all you Neferi enjoyers, what's happening to this champion? Well, your pack mates are now going to deal bonus monster damage. So this is encouraging you to go jungle Neferi, and your W now affects untargetable enemies. This is really just like a bug fix for the most part. But yeah, Neferi mains, what do you actually think about this? Let me know in the comment section. Now moving on, just like Maokai, guys, we have Sejuani, another jungler who is picked a lot in pro play. So nerfing Sejuani, they're just trying to get her out of that. Even though she's not amazing in solo queue, far from it actually. It's kind of unfortunate. Maybe they might have to retune these champions. We'll have to see. Now, another champion, guys, who's getting straight up nerfed after getting recently buffed, this is Shyvana. So kind of getting the Aatrox treatment. So Shyvana is getting nerfed. We don't know what the changes are, but after getting buffed last patch, well, this patch really, in 13-14, she's actually doing a lot better and is viable for once, for the first time in ages, but she's getting nerfed immediately after. Pretty funny. Now, champion adjustments. 3 of these we actually have the changes for. So the first of these is Annie. So for Annie in 13-14, your Tibbers resists have been changed once again to scale in level. So not based off your rank, it's going to scale off level, but it's not actually going to scale off any AP. Also, the Tibbers HP has changed, again based on level instead of rank, but this time again it's going to scale off less of your AP as well. But to be honest, like changing Tibbers, I don't think it really means that much. Annie's AP, like the damage she still deals, will be pretty much exactly the same. So I think these are kind of placebo. So don't worry too much about this if you're playing Annie. Now moving on, we have Heimerdinger here who's getting some changes. So these are as follows. So your ultimate, so when you use your ultimate with your Q, so the enhanced turret, the HP in this is increasing. And then we also have the turret resistances that are being changed from whatever weird value they had to kind of like a linear 30 to 90. So honestly, these just seem like buffs to me. Adjustments, I'm not really sure how they are. But yeah, Donga is going to be stronger in 13-15. And I think he's actually a really good support at the moment because against engaged supports, Heimerdinger does really well, right? Because they're just running into your turrets, just like kind of like a Shaco box, I guess. Last champion, guys, that we know about who's getting changed, and we do have one more on top of this, we have Yorick. So the maiden HP is actually changing, once again, like everyone else in this kind of like change list, to scale off of level rather than that random rank they have, but it is going to scale off less HP. Then we also have your maiden now scaling with armor and magic resist. So the HP going down, but you are getting extra armor and magic resistance here. So I think this will make it tankier, and these do actually seem like buffs and just good adjustments generally. Now the final champion here, guys, to discuss, this is Rel. We don't actually know what these changes are going to be, but yeah, Rel is getting adjusted, and I think these will actually be more nerfs than buffs because Rel, simply speaking, is just overperforming. I'm really surprised she's not in the nerf list, but she's the final champion. Now, we do have 3 system nerfs to talk about. Now, no items or runes or anything are getting buffed, just nerfs. These are as follows. Glacial Augment getting nerfed. Whether you're playing Rel with Glacial Augment, so this will be a nerf to Rel and all those engaged supports, right? And then we have Night Harvester. Once again, if you're playing Ivern with Night Harvester, or any champion with Night Harvester, mid laners, top laners like a Rumble, for example, these affect all of them. And then we have Smite on champion pets. So if you're playing a champion like Shaco with boxes, Yorick with the Maiden, Ivern with Daisy, Annie with Tibbers, Heimerdinger with turrets, all of these are going to take less damage from Smite now, and I think it's a good change. Well, because as a Shaco main, obviously, I don't really like my box getting smited, and it just disappears from some guy pressing F. It doesn't really feel like there's a lot of skill expression there, so I'm actually kind of all for this. So those were the changes, guys, for 13-15, and the changes we know about. Tomorrow, hopefully, when Riot release the full changes, we will inform you what they actually are, but thank you so much for watching the video. Hopefully you enjoyed it, and I'll see you on our next one. This has been Coach Higgs. Peace.